Yo, what up? Welcome to another episode of the Oakland Warriors podcast. I'm Patrick, flying solo. So the Warriors are back on the winning side of things. They beat the Dallas Mavericks 119-113 at home at Chase Center. And they were basically playing a Mavericks team that without Luka, without Christian Wood, they're basically a lottery team, right? The Mavs are one of the teams in the NBA, probably the one real playoff team in the NBA that if they lost their main star, they just don't have enough talent to even make a dent in a playoff or even play in run. But this was a game that the Warriors kind of had to have. And honestly, I've said that a bunch this season because in this up and down year, it's always like they're just always on the precipice of falling too far back. And this was one that they really, really needed. They came out strong. They looked like a team that was energized being at home. But ultimately, despite winning, Steph Curry got hurt. He tweaked his knee. Anthony Slater of The Athletic pointed out on Twitter that that's the same left leg that he hurt in Denver when he kicked his leg out and got fouled on a three. And on this one, he was playing some defense, moving laterally on a drive, and he got a knee into his knee or right below his knee, I believe, and it pushed his knee in. And as we all know, knees go forward and backward, not left and right. They don't bend that way. So the x-rays at this point have proven negative, but an MRI is scheduled to show if there's any real damage in there. And far be it for me to speculate, but we all know that if Steph is out for an extended period of time, this team is, in rough waters. Obviously, they played up and down, but they had some good stretches of playing without Steph when they were back at home in late December, early January. But the way things are moving, it'll be tough no matter what. It's not all of a sudden like, oh, he's out, we'll be fine. I mean, it's one thing if you're 15 games above 500. It's another thing if you are just one game and treading water. Draymond Green, he showed his value in this one. He missed the Denver game, and you just see what you miss when he's not there. Just the defensive savvy, the smarts, the direction, and then just the offensive motor and the attitude, So it was great to see him in this kind of just get back into the flow of things, right? He tweaked his knee or his leg, his right leg in this one too, towards the end. And I hope that's not a big deal. We'd been told that he missed the Denver game because of a calf issue. And honestly, weren't sure if it was really that bad or if we should just believe the Warriors coaching staff and medical staff and training staff. And when they said it was a day-to-day thing, and okay, obviously it was. Thank God. When I saw him in the starting lineup, I was like, thank God, and having him, it just made this team obviously feel a lot more complete at home. He played 32 minutes, 6 for 13 from the field, was 3 for 3 from 3 until he missed his next 4. So he was 3 for 7 overall from 3. Hit both his free throws, 9 boards, 3 blocks, 17 points plus 2. That's a beautiful Draymond Green game. And I hope that if he got nicked up a little bit, that it's just minor because as we know, this Warriors team can't win without Draymond Green. We saw it all last season when he was out with his calf/back issue, and they can't win without him. They can't go far without him at all if he's not there. Same goes for Steph. I would argue that, well, obviously Steph is, the Warriors' best player and all that stuff. I would argue that the Warriors can tread some water without Steph. We've seen it. And we also have someone like Jordan Poole, who, for all of his faults and poor decisions and dribbling the ball out of bounds and off his foot and falling over, at least there is someone on this Warriors bench who can, simulate what he does. There's no one on the Warriors who can simulate what Draymond does on defense, and defense has been a big issue for this team throughout. Steve Kerr went with Kevon Looney back in the starting lineup, sending Jordan Poole back to the bench, and I thought that was a fine idea. You know what I mean? I thought the Jordan Poole thing in the starting lineup was okay. It did have some quick starts, but I never really thought it was going to last a really, really long time. And I think it just works better this way. Looney was excellent, got some big boards in this one, especially late. Only played 19 minutes, 4 for 6 from the field, 7 boards, 2 steals, 10 points. Take it. Awesome. JaMychal Green. He got some minutes in this one, 16 minutes, 6 for 7 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, 1 for 2 from the line, 5 boards, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 14 points. Excuse me? Where's this guy been? I mean, if it really was the injury and the illness that, made him kind of come back renewed and refreshed, that's one thing. But let's be honest. I'm pretty sure he hears all the chatter about the Warriors needing to trade for a better center or find a better center on the buyout market. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, if the Warriors are trying to improve that spot on their bench, then JaMychal Green is a guy that they would probably either jettison or include in a trade package going the other way. So he played an inspired game. He's playing for his job, so that's something that I'm more than happy to see from him. Not going to overreact to one game from him, but if he can do this, I mean, again, the Mavericks without Christian Wood and without Luka, it's just not a very good team, and this is a team that's also not very big. So JaMychal Green can have some success down low against these guys. If he can string some of these together, then it's like, okay, is he proving that the Warriors don't need to trade for a Kelly Olynyk or a Jakob Poeltl? You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see. Again, if he can do this, great. That's promising. But, so it goes. We saw again in this game, the Warriors kind of almost cough up their lead. They were clearly shook a little bit when Steph went out and Dallas came after them. And let's face facts. This is how it's going to be the rest of the season, plain and simple. This is the Warriors' reputation, that they can cough up leads. I guarantee you, Jason Kidd, the killer he was on the court, he's like, keep coming at these guys, especially once Steph went out, because they will fold. They will cough up leads because they've done it. The Warriors have over the last couple weeks and throughout the season. So not only are the Warriors hunted as the champs and the team that everybody gets up for to knock them off, they're also walking around with another target on their backs, teams knowing that they can choke, bottom line. So it's like they're coming after you. And then even if you build up a 20-point lead, they believe at least that you're vulnerable to letting that slip. So the Warriors are going to have to really, really battle from now until the All-Star break, from the All-Star break until the end of the season. Jonathan Kuminga, he had another good game. 20 minutes, 6 for 11 from the field, only 1 for 4 from 3, 2 boards, 1 assist, 13 points. Brought the energy as usual. Had some really, really impressive drives and attacks to the basket. And I just like seeing him develop more and more. Coming up next week, they get OKC at Chase Center on Monday. Then they go to Portland on Wednesday, and on Saturday on another ABC broadcast, they get the Lakers at home. So, I said, can the Warriors go 5-1 before the All-Star break? Right now, they are 1-0. If we look at the 10 games that I've talked about before the All-Star break, where I was like, I would love if they went 7-3. They are now 3-2. So if they can go 4-1 against OKC, Portland, the Lakers, the Wizards, and the Clippers into the All-Star break, that would make me really happy. A lot of people don't believe they can. I'm not saying they will. If they showed up the way we know they can, and if they looked like they were always mentally there, and if Steph can actually play, then they definitely have a shot. So just take it one game at a time. And, Steph is the lone Warrior representative at the All-Star game. Who knows? He might not play if his knee is that bad. I know that's a couple weeks away, but still, hopefully his MRI doesn't come back showing anything too terrible. But in the long run, it's probably good for guys like Draymond and Klay, even though maybe, they'd prefer to be there, or it hurts their ego if they're not voted in or something. Ultimately, it might be just better for them, including Wiggins too, to just get that time away, not having to be at the All-Star game, participate in All-Star activities, all that stuff. Just get away mentally, physically, walk away from a court for a little bit and recharge their batteries. I'm sure this season isn't really taxing for all of them. So again, not necessarily a bad thing that they're not going to Utah. Anyway, fun game to watch, except for Steph's injury, man. Just fingers crossed on that. I think that's what hangs over all of this. He looked like he was pretty, he was limping pretty bad when you're watching it on TV, but it could have just been like a stinger or something. And hopefully nothing's too sprained, but I don't know. I'm going to have to go on Twitter and look at some of what these sports doctors with the YouTube channels say about it, because again, it's one thing if the Warriors had a cushion of some kind, but it's getting late. And if he's out for just like I said about Draymond, if he's out for a month, if Steph is, then that doesn't bode well for them trying to eke into the playoffs and avoid play-ins, So anyway, that's all I got. We'll go from there.